I'm Chris.
I'm Sandy.
And this is Parenting Autism. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 111 of the Parenting Autism podcast. And I think I said 111 last time, but this is really 111. Is that right, Sandy?
Yeah, we looked. We had a little blip because we did that extra recording of Bryce when you interviewed him. And I don't think you gave that
a number
when you were recording him. But we had to give it a number when we put it on line, whatever. We're not all technical, but anyway, here we are. Hey.
Yes, we're back. I want to start off by reading some reviews that we hadn't discovered or read before on here.
I think a couple were new, and then an oldie but great one that you found.
Yeah, and speaking of reviews, I went onto our website, parentingautismshow.com, and made a little tab for reviews. So if you don't know how to leave a review, you can go there and it'll tell you how to leave an Apple or Spotify review. And in my research, I did find out that a lot of these podcast platforms don't have a way for you to leave a review. So a lot of people that have asked us say, hey, I don't even see where I can leave a review. Well, that's true because they may not have a thing where you can go leave a review. But I know that Apple and Spotify do, and those instructions are on the website now for people to do that. So one of the reviews doesn't have a date on it, but I know it's recent. It's
this past week.
Okay. I listened to your podcast and I'm so thankful to have found you. Your journey is helping us walk this with our son. And that was from Michael Carey Cooper. So thank you, Michael Carey Cooper, for that review.
I think that came in through one of our social media platforms, actually. Either Facebook or Instagram review.
Okay. Very nice. And then we have... I recently listened to one of the episodes, and I wanted you to know that I personally appreciate the time you take to do the podcast. I found you last year, about a year after our son was diagnosed at the age of 2 years old. He's going to be 4 this week, and so much of what you share is exactly what we are walking in that moment. I also appreciate the Christian perspective, as we too are Christians. We found another podcast, but you just couldn't keep listening because so much was not aligned to our walk. I again want to thank you. We are in Western North Carolina, and our family is thankful for your family. And that is from Cooper Fam 8.
Thank you, Cooper Fam.
Yes, and we love Western North Carolina. It's a beautiful country up there. Next is love you too. So glad I found your podcast. And that's from Terseat, Terseat. So thank you for that.
You.
And then one more.
That's your oldie but goodie you found on Audible.
Yeah, it's really nice. The title was My Number One Favorite Podcast. Chris and Sandy are a dynamic duo. Oh, that's a cool catchphrase. This podcast is so helpful. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. I have gleaned so much wisdom and have gathered many tips and ideas that I can use in our journey as well. I am so thankful that our paths have crossed. I look forward to each episode. Hugs from the Wood family. And I think their username is Dog Lover. So we love dogs too. And thank you for your review. We appreciate it.
Speaking of dogs, should I take that segue that Bryce is now suddenly talking about wanting a dog?
Well, he did for a brief period, but I have not heard it recently. Like he had 1 week where he was talking about it.
I know. Well, I think that's because he now has Flippy, his stuffed animal.
Well, that was before Flippy, though, right?
No, but that's why he hasn't talked about a dog.
Oh,
because he
okay.
has Flippy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm thinking. But hey, I'd much rather, for now, have a stuffed animal dolphin from SeaWorld that is cleaner and
Flippy is
less
lower
maintenance.
maintenance. Yes. Flippy can go with us places without problems. And we can also leave Flippy at home and nobody has to come and watch him.
That's true. But I have to say, when Bryce was telling me that he wanted the dog, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and I asked him, well, who would take care of the dog when we go away? And he had really good answers for everything. And he said, well, we'll have to find someone. And I asked him if he wanted a big dog or a small dog. And he said he would like a big dog. And that he thought Cooper was a great name. And that's because that's what our niece's dog's name is.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That he's allergic to.
that he is allergic to Cooper. That was proven.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't know with allergies. There's lots of things. But anyway.
Yeah.
But he got Flippy, and we got Flippy at SeaWorld.
Ding, 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 SeaWorld. So, yes, we went to SeaWorld on Monday, which is a great day to visit SeaWorld, by the way, for anybody listening. It wasn't very crowded at all. I think the roller coasters, they still had like an hour wait. But anybody knows Bryce, we're not doing roller coasters right now. And I think his words were, I will never get on that.
That pretty much summed it up. Because it had loop-de-loops.
Yeah. So we ended up buying a season pass for all of us for SeaWorld. And we got him the gold pass because he gets free parking and some other perks.
Yeah, and it comes with, it's educational. So his scholarship will reimburse.
Should cover it, yeah.
Pretty much the majority of his expense, which then made sense. That lady was so funny. I went to go get the cards at the end of the day, and she says, "Oh, Bryce is the gold member," and I'm like, "Yes, he likes the color gold."
He does. That's true.
And then I said, "Well, but seriously," I said, "it's through his scholarship, and it's really for him." And then she's like, "Oh, well, he's just turning 10 this week." I said, "He is." She goes, "Well, then you're going to have him with you every time you come." I said, "And that's the plan."
Well, yeah.
So it's okay.
Yeah,
like she was really freaking out that we did it in the name of the child instead of the adult. But hey, it worked for us,
yeah.
and we just did fun passes for us. But we're in the Orlando area fairly often now because of Special Olympics. They have a lot of their regional and state competitions
and
up toward the center of the
there.
state.
Yeah.
True, and we'll be up there for that. So we just wanted to try a different
type of park.
Yeah, because he was talking about getting the Space Center again. And while that has been good, I just felt like he might be at the point that he could really enjoy SeaWorld. Because he likes animals,
right.
too.
And let's face it, I mean, the things that he likes at the Space Center are the slide and the new playground.
And he's hit and miss on that slide because of the sonic boom.
Right. So is there anything else?
No.
I think he liked the Space Shuttle liftoff ride, but other than that, I mean, you got the whole Space Center, and he doesn't want to go up for a launch because he's scared of the noise. So, I mean, there's just not much there that...
At this point.
Right, that he's interested
I think he'll grow back into that at another part. So we wanted to try something different. So we got this, and I know it was a gamble, and you and I talked about it because we're like going, as that guy said yesterday, we were going for the Ferrari out of the parking lot. We were like, okay, we're going to get the gold pass. We're going to get the fun passes. Let's just try this. And the reason why we had a little bit of hesitancy is because a few years ago we had passes to Legoland, and that ended up being such a disaster.
And that's on a prior episode.
I couldn't tell you the number, but yes. And I think we made it 27 minutes from the time we entered the gate until the time we left the gate. And that was a lot of coercion to get him to stay those 27 minutes.
We had to get him in the gate.
It was bad.
And then after we got him in the gate, we walked down like the main drag in there, and we came upon a roller coaster that was overhead, going wherever it was going. And I think
he heard the roller coaster. That was it.
That was it. It's like,
and it had to do with sound primarily. Actually,
I don't even know if we had headphones back then, did we?
No, we learned that day in a major way.
There we go.
So so we weren't sure how that would go, but since that time, we have taken him to Disney twice, to the Magic Kingdom, and he did okay both of those times. Just not our favorite. It's not our favorite park, and I thought this would be better. It'd be better for you because any listeners would know also that you have problems with your feet and being on them for too long. And SeaWorld is a lot about shows, so and moving, because you just can't stand still in a line.
Right.
And in this situation, we really didn't have situations where you had to stand in line for a period of time. We had some walking to do because the bridge was closed. So we had to walk across the park the long way.
Yeah, and they have this autism sensory friendly area. And I don't know if you noticed it, but we walked by it going around the park one of the many times that we did it. And it was a covered area with picnic tables situated adjacent to a roller coaster. So we're walking by there and you hear this, all the people screaming. And then here comes the roller coaster. I'm like, that just doesn't seem very calming, like.
I did not see
it. It was something right next to it where there was loud people screaming, and I'm like, okay. And there was a couple families there. I don't, but who knows?
Interesting. Well, what we did this time was we added the dolphin encounter, and so, man, I'm having a hard time this morning.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like. What was it, $30-some extra ticket. So we go there. We signed up for a time slot. They break you down into groups of like 2 families each. And there's probably, 10 groups. So we probably had 10 minutes with the dolphin, maybe.
They say 10 to 15. And
okay,
I felt like
10
it was
to 15.
A good 15.
So you stand up next to the edge of the water. And of course you can't stand next to the water with your phone. So they tell you to step back like 3 feet. And they have their photographers on the other side taking pictures of you. But he got to interact with the dolphin. The dolphin came up like on a ledge and sat there, and Bryce pet the dolphin.
It was great. And he got to feed it. And he was ecstatic, I think, after that experience. So he really, really was.
He's in love with dolphins now and killer whales.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why is because they're called killer whales. And so he thinks
he knows they're the predators of
the top predator of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. No, he loved the flips, actually, and he's all into gymnastics. So the fact that the dolphins and the orcas could do flips just amazed him.
We saw both shows, so that was nice. And what else the stingray encounter you guys did?
Yeah, because he likes to pet those. And he said that the dolphin, they wanted to know what it felt like. And I think people were looking for the word like rubber, but he's like, it felt like a stingray.
Mm-hmm.
So he just compared those two, which is probably true. And then I thought what was really cute on this is when we did the dolphin encounter, he was watching how they used their hand motions to direct the dolphins to do their tricks.
Yep.
And then when we went to the orca show, I showed him how they had the big long stick because they can't get in the water with the orcas now after what happened a few years ago. And so anyway, they take this big long stick and they'll tap it on the inside of the pool, and then that's where the orca knows where to go. Mm-hmm. So I was pointing that out to him so he could kind of watch then and anticipate where they were going to go and come up out of the water. And then if they did their hand like straight, they would go straight. If they went to the left, the dolphins went to the left. And this is like in the dolphin show. And I think he saw this other little girls doing that. So at first, Bryce told me he didn't even want to go to SeaWorld because he was afraid of getting wet. Mm-hmm. And he saw that on the Free Willy movie. And so this time he was like, we didn't sit in the splash zone for the whales. I said, you don't have to get wet. But for the dolphins, he wanted to get a little closer. He's feeling brave at that point. So we were one row behind the splash zone.
The labeled splash zone.
Yes, exactly. And then he wanted to go up further, and he asked if he could. And we're like, sure, because we could still see him. And it, again, light crowds, which was great. So he goes up. And then the next thing I know when I'm recording him is he's got his little hand going straight out to the left, to the right. Like he really felt like he was controlling the dolphin.
Yeah,
and
that was
he
cute.
still thinks it and it's super cute. So he was totally into that. He did get splashed a little bit. He loved that. And I can see that each time we go, we could work our way closer to the center where he could be closer to the dolphins during the show because he'll get more comfortable.
Oh, in the
each
stadium?
Time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he also had interest in the splash pad that they had there for kids.
Oh, yeah.
So
They
it
have
was hot, and he does get overheated. So I think we'll be going frequently through the winter months.
Listen, he started to take his shorts off right there because
Oh, yeah. He
so
says,
hot.
I got to take my shorts off.
As he's taking them
no.
off, we're like, no, we'll bring you clothes next time.
Yeah.
But he was afraid that his clothes would get destroyed, to use his word. So once we assured him that his clothes wouldn't get destroyed if they got wet, then he was like, okay. And then he went and got wet. And he really
ran through one
loved
time.
that.
Yeah. So we will bring swimsuits
We will.
next time.
I mean, it's going to be great. We didn't even take him to see the penguins this time or the sea lions because that show wasn't happening. So
We were there a long time.
We were. And I think it's great because I didn't have to feel rushed. That's the beauty of having the season pass. You don't have to feel rushed. You know you were going to be able to go back and do more. And we might as well take advantage of living near all these parks, if we're going to be in the area fairly often. So anyway, so that was good. And we could definitely highly recommend that, or at least for Bryce, it worked out really, really great.
Let's go from there to segue over to urban air.
Yeah, we can do that, actually.
Because we just went there.
We did.
For the first time.
For the first time. So Bryce's birthday, we celebrated all week, but it was actually Thursday. So we have a 10-year-old in the house now. Hey. And he's so excited. Oh, my goodness. He's really excited that he turned 10. When he woke up, he gave me like 2 thumbs ups and was like, double digits. Yeah. Like he gets all that. But so he wanted,
and he grew almost 4 inches in the last year.
It's pretty amazing.
I couldn't believe it when I measured him. But anyway.
He's 2 inches shy of 5 feet now. So he had this list of things that he wanted to do. He wanted to fly his new drone. He wanted to drive his monster truck. So I took him over to a park and we did those 2 things. He wanted Ding Dong Pizza, which is Little Caesars. And he called it Ding Dong Pizza because since he was little, when you would walk in, it would say Ding Dong.
Yeah, there's a little bell that goes
So he
Ding Dong.
saw now that it's called Little Caesars. So he goes, oh, but I call it Ding Dong. I said, well, yeah, you did that because it's doorbell. And he goes, oh, but it's Little Cheesers, which I thought was even cuter. I'm like, yeah, you can call it Little Cheesers, but it's Little Caesars. But he's trying to say things correctly now. But anyway, he doesn't normally have Little Caesars because
they don't have gluten-free.
Correct. But we told him on his birthday he could. And his little face is so broken out. I mean, gluten. I can tell if he has gluten because his face breaks out. But anyway, he enjoyed his special treats on that day. But he wanted to go to this place called Defy that we've talked about before on the podcast. And it's mainly trampolines. And their zip line was broken every time. But he had issues there because they have the
referee
kids
whistles.
that are in referee uniforms with whistles. So we had heard about Urban Air. That's also in our area. But I had heard that it wouldn't be good for him because it's extra loud and that it's geared more for the older kids.
Well, plus I heard a lot of people get injured there. And I'm like, it wasn't at the top of my list of places to go.
Right. So we had this gift certificate that was given to us. And so I thought, well, then this would be a good time to try it. I had taken this week off so I could take him when they opened. And so we did. So we went before there was, it was a light crowd, like a really light crowd. And so that worked out really well. We got him the pass that he could try. And they have go-karts inside. And Bryce loves driving go-karts. They had a zip line that was higher up and very cool. And he was totally fine with that. He had his headphones, which always makes him feel better. And they had the trampolines like Defy, but not that many. It really wasn't all about, they had these bumper cars, but I think the big thing with the bumper cars is they have this one that's called Spin and Roll. And it spins around, but you can also roll over like a loop-de-loop in the car. You're harnessed in. And for Bryce, with his vestibular feedback that he seeks, I thought, wow, that's a good match for him. And that was definitely one of his favorite things. Like, I think
it was like that flight simulator we did in, was it Dayton?
Yes.
Ohio?
Yes.
In the Air Force Museum?
Yes.
And it went upside down. And
that was a couple years ago. And he wanted one in our living room.
He's like, Daddy, this is good for my brain.
He
I remember
did.
that.
Yeah, he did. And so I think this will be good for his brain. So we're going to look into maybe being able to take him more often. Now that I have a more flexible work schedule, we could do that. But apparently that is a chain that is throughout the United States. So I don't even know if that means, probably like if he has a pass, that we could do that on vacations if they're in the area too.
I don't know. We're usually busy on vacations.
We haven't looked that deep into it, but I will say that it was a good experience for him. But I think one of the really sweet things was, well, we actually took a friend with him, one of his new friends that he met at the Special Olympics Gymnastics, and she loved it too. And she's his age. She's also 10. But when we got there were some other kids there, and this one boy just was really taken to Bryce, and he was so good with helping him, and he was like cheering him on and saying, "You can do this, you got this, you did a great job."
You and I looked at each other and we're like, wow, who is this kid?
I think he must be familiar with autism or something, because he just knew what to do and say, and he was only 9. But he was really great. Like, he wanted to help Bryce. You could tell. And
He's
Bryce,
like, you can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. So he was like, I can teach him this. I can okay. So, and I did ask him, I said, are you familiar with autism? And he just kind of shrugged his shoulders. But then later I talked to his brother, and then his brother, who's 4 years older than him, he's 13. And then he's like, said something about their cousin. And I could tell their cousin was autistic. You could just tell. And I mean, if you live on this journey long enough, you just kind of know.
Yeah.
And so I knew with him, and he was older. And then you kind of thought maybe the 13-year-old was. And then when I said to him, I said, who is that? And he goes, that's my cousin. He has autism. And I said, oh, so does he. And I pointed to Bryce. He goes, oh, he has it too? And I said, yes. He goes, so do I. I said, well, how about that? And he's like, but I'm on the lower end. And I said, you mean the higher end? Yeah, like the higher end. And then he said, I also have ADHD. And he had something else he was explaining to me. And I said, Bryce does too. And then he goes, okay, can I ask? I don't mean to be rude, but why is he wearing those? And he's talking about this headphones. And I said, well, because he's really sensitive to sound right now. I said, are you not sensitive to sound? He's like, no, but I'm sensitive to light. And my brain transfers color. That's what it was. I transfer into color. And his brain transfers colors into sounds, something like that. It was really something unusual.
Interesting.
So I'm like, well, you have your own superpower there, but it was really cool. And then that made sense to me why the younger brother was so good with Bryce. I mean, he's just used to helping his brother and cheering on. So it was kind of like a little gift to have that there for us, and made it an extra special experience for us that day, and an extra special birthday experience for Bryce. So that was great.
Autism is just becoming so commonplace now. And a lot of people say, oh, well, there's so many kids with autism now because they widen the criteria for the diagnosis. And,
they kind of tightened it up, actually.
I just can't believe that, because now we need police officers trained. Now theme parks have special areas.
Oh, the schools can't.
The schools can't keep up.
Yeah, special units and
it's
support.
It's not like more kids are being diagnosed because the criteria is looser. It's because more kids have it, and it's really upsetting because we're not getting our thumb on what's causing it. They say, well, it's environmental, or it's in the genes, or whatever. And I don't know. It's just upsetting to me. And I think there needs to be more awareness. and a little more pressure on, the people in the higher places that do the research. There's either something that's causing it out there that somebody knows that they're not sharing, or we haven't discovered it yet, and we just need to double down our efforts to figure out what exactly. You just can't say, oh, well, it's all the chemicals in our environment. No, something's changed, and, you just can't blame it on everything. That's it,
I hear you.
You can tell in my voice I'm a little upset about it, but
I know.
It is what it is.
It's a very sensitive, sore topic for very good reason.
Yeah.
For a very good reason.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what to say.
There's nothing to say. Yeah, I
think somebody's hiding it?
My
Probably
heart breaks
not,
for these kids.
Yeah, because we just keep
my heart breaks for these
more
kids.
And more.
Yeah,
I know, and we are around it a lot, obviously. Yeah. So,
anyway,
yes.
What else you got?
I don't know. It's just all.
Did I throw you through a loop?
It's okay. No. This is what we're here for, babe. Is to talk.
Oh well, let's talk about the book. So, we've had a delay in the book.
Oh yeah, because I came on here last time. So let me say officially and record
it's delayed.
No, you were right. I was wrong. I shouldn't have put a date.
I did say that, didn't I?
You did. But so what happened was, I was working on it before we left to go to Orlando, because we went away for a few nights because Bryce has Special Olympics gymnastics also, which we'll talk about. But it just wasn't coming together the way that I needed it to. I kept running into problems with the layout and all of that. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to, haste makes waste. I don't want to rush this. Let me take a brain break. I'll come back with a fresh brain. Mm-hmm. I'll send it in again, and I bet it'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. We came back. I had a fresh brain. I sent it in Monday night when we got back from Seaworld, and it went through with no problem.
And listen, that's an important lesson, because we've learned this over and over again. If you're having trouble with something and it's just not working, you just have to step away from it. You just, and sometimes it'll work out just like it did with the book. It re-uploaded and there was no issues. And that's in everything in life. If something's, you're pushing, and then it's pushing back at you, you just got to take a break and regroup. Right? Come back to it later, and a lot of times it just works out.
We did. And then after I got it up there, I was like, okay, I go to the next page because I hadn't gotten that far. And they gave us the option of ordering a book as a proof. And then they said on there, there would be something on there that says not for resale. And that's fine. I just wanted to touch and feel it, make sure that the cover was aligned
formatting
correctly, all of that. And I thought, well, if I do this, because this is Monday night, then I don't know that it'll be able to publish by Thursday. But I don't want to rush this either. Mm-hmm. So I said, it's probably going to delay it, but that's okay. And so that's what we did. So we got the proof in, and it arrived yesterday. Mm-hmm. And so we were happy with that. And so it's actually pending review right now.
Right. So we have a few more steps before it goes.
Yep, it's
live.
Pending review, and then once we get these final steps done, then it will be ready.
We're excited.
So we're excited. Now, that is for the paperback. Then I learned that the ebook, it's a whole different format.
Oh, like the Kindle version?
Yeah, so I have to go in and redo that one.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It's kind of cruel. But I was like, I'm on vacation this week. I do not want to be sitting in front of a computer. I'm with my boy this week and with you. So I was like, nope, that'll be next week when I get back into a regular work routine.
And hey, if you guys, any of you are audio listeners to books like Audible, let us know, because we're thinking about doing it on Audible.
Yeah, because that'll require a whole other production.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure Barnes & Noble, who we've been approved with, they probably have their own formatting as well.
Yeah.
So it's not like snap your fingers and you got, it's not a cookie cutter where you do one size fits all. That is not the case.
You have to use your oven several times.
You do. And for me, I personally wanted to have a paperback first because I'm not a Kindle girl. I'm old school.
I like having it in my hands.
I like having one in my hands.
I like highlighting if I need to highlight, underline.
Yeah.
Fold the page over.
We will be accommodating the rest, but for now, that's what's going to be out there first will be the paperback through Amazon Kindle, KDP. So we're very excited about that. Let's go back to Special Olympics gymnastics. So Bryce went to Special Olympic Gymnastics Regional, and for our county, which is St. Lucie County, I think we had 6 athletes. So we had, or did we have 5? 3 girls, 2 girls? Now I'm trying to question myself. 3 girls. We had 6. 3 girls, 3 boys.
Okay.
So Bryce, they have like the order that they gave us that the athletes would perform in. And we had this issue a few weeks prior with him getting upset about turn order, which I think we briefly discussed, that he really got sad and angry about that. So we kind of prepped him that sometimes you'll be first, sometimes you'll be last, but you're going to get your turn. You know, we didn't want that to be an issue. And so he actually went first on the pommel horse, which was the first event for him. And there was just the 3 guys from our county. There weren't even other counties that were over there with him at that time. So he got to go first on that. I saw that he did really good on that. And that everything seemed fine. But they did have to wait quite a bit of time before their next event, which was floor.
Yeah, they had all the counties, all the activities going on at the same time. So you had to wait for the next section of the gym to be available and everybody done, and then we would rotate, they would call.
Right.
Rotate to the next station, yeah.
Which I've seen that on TV with gymnastics, you know. So Bryce, while he was waiting, was watching the athletes on the floor. And again, it's mostly girls that are doing gymnastics, and they all had their songs that they were doing their routines to. So when it came to our turn, or Bryce's turn, the 3 girls from our group did theirs first, and they had some music. And it said on our paper, make sure you have
bring your own music.
Yeah. So we questioned that, and they're like, oh, no, don't worry. He doesn't need music for his routine. Okay. So we thought that was across the board, but it was not. So anyway, so when it gets to his turn, he's the first one to not have music because he was the first of the 3 boys. Well, that did not fly well. And we didn't know what the problem was until afterwards. But all I knew was that Bryce got up there on the floor and he was not happy.
And we were in the seats, and you just can't run up there during a competition and find out what's going on.
And
his coach was there.
She was there with him.
And she was talking to him.
So she was trying to get him to follow her lead.
But it was obvious.
She didn't know why he was upset. Yeah. He wasn't using his words to tell her why he was upset. He was clearly upset. Then
he fell to the mat, didn't he?
Made that part of his routine. A hard fall to the floor and a roll.
They must have liked it because he got a ribbon.
Well, so he gets through the routine and was like, oh, man. So he wouldn't come off the floor. So I did go up at that point because I had to get him off the floor. So we get him off the floor. And then I'm talking to him, use your words, tell me what's wrong. And that's when it came out. There was no music. And he was just sad, you know. And I'm like, oh. And then I could show him at that point that the next boy had gone up. I said, boys don't get music. Only girls get music.
Yeah.
See? Rusty's doing his. He doesn't have music. Yeah. But at that point, he just couldn't understand that, and he was already upset. And as he tells you, it takes him time to work through it. And he'll be like, I don't know how long this will take for me to not be sad anymore. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm sorry, buddy, but, you know. And then he said about the turnover, I said, well, you were first of the boys. You were number 1 for the boys. You just had girls before you. So I wasn't going to get stuck on that. The music thing threw me for a curve. But I'm like, you're going to have to work through it because you have 2 more events. And if you, want to compete, or we can go home now. No, so.
See, and we went to the next routine, and he was still mad.
And we were quite a far distance at this point.
So we
him.
couldn't, he was too far away to say, "Hey, Bryce."
So tell me what you're feeling.
Well, yeah, I was upset because I'm like, this is we've been working toward this, right? And this is the big event, and you're clenching your fists, you're falling to the floor, you're angry, right? And my just dad instinct just kicked in, and without regard to autism. And I just wanted to go over there and say, look, hey, if you don't get this together, we're out of here. We'll leave and it's over, right? And but then,
and I said, thank you, Lord, for far distances between Chris and Bryce now.
And then the little person on my other shoulder says, Chris, what are you thinking? Your son has autism. You just can't do that. You can't do that. You need patience. Take a minute. It's out of your control. Just go with it.
There's a good key right there, babe, because it is a control thing to a degree. It's not that you want to control him, but you want to kind of help control the situation. But also and you want to show that we're parenting him, right?
I wanted to be a parent, right?
And that we do address issues with him. We don't just let it be free reign, right? Because let's be honest, who does it reflect on him or on us? Right? So it's like, oh, I don't want to be that kind of parent that just lets my kid do whatever either. I mean, let's just be real. We probably all think that at some point. Not that that's why you were thinking it, but like you said, it's the natural instinct. Because what would our parents do?
Exactly.
Right?
What would our
what
parents
has been modeled
have done?
for us because you want your kids to behave in
public.
And
that's what kicked in. It's like, if it was my mom and dad, we'd have been out of there.
You'd have been snatched
I probably got
up
a spanking and grounded and put all the icing on the cake. It would have been a whole deal.
Right. And so with Bryce, here's what I'm thinking, trying to keep the other perspective was, this is what we work toward, not toward him getting a ribbon, but toward him being able to work through a situation without us there. Mm-hmm. Can he do it?
Right.
And he did it.
Yeah.
But he needed to have the opportunity to do that, which would have been snatched away
if we intervened.
Yeah. So maybe it was a good thing that there was some distance between us, because he really did have to, and he would look to us for our attention while you're giving him the old I'm looking at you fingers with my eyes to your eyes. Did
I do that?
Yeah, you did one time. And I'm like clapping for him. You're like, why are you cheering for him? I'm like, I'm trying to just encourage him. But anyway, I didn't want him to think that, okay, he's hitting the thing because he's angry and he's trying to let us know he's angry. Okay, we know you are. It is what it is, right? We're not going to feed that behavior.
And we certainly don't want him rewarded for it.
For sure. But he also has to learn, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's either going to work or it's not going to work. His coaches need to have the opportunity to learn how to work with him.
Well, I think that could have been a little fail on our part because we didn't prep them for a possible behavior.
But how do we know to prep them for everything? He doesn't come with an instruction manual.
No, but you know that things could happen like what happened. We didn't expect that to happen, but let's just say, for instance, that there was a loud, unexpected noise. And he just freaked out, right? So we just need to let them know how to help him.
Now that part, true.
That's it. How to help him through
if this happens. Right. Well, they did get a live example of it a few weeks prior when he got upset about the turn taking.
Oh yeah.
And they had to. And then at some point I went out there and talked to him, but I let them try to intervene with it so they know, get him to talk, use his words. Right, don't feed it.
Yeah, but we didn't clue them in on how to handle him.
Yeah.
And every kid's different, And,
that's it. And I don't think, we can give them some, but that's not fair to them either because, like you said, they got 6 kids that they're coaching.
Well,
but there were 3 coaches. It was really good.
I think it's better if they know what to expect than not to know what to expect.
True.
Right?
True. Just if we know what to expect, to tell them what to expect. That's probably part
yeah.
of
Well,
the problem.
A, he could drop to the floor. B,
When's
he
the
could
last time he dropped to the floor?
he could
though?
clench his fists, right?
Yeah, that could for sure.
C, he could just roll around on the floor and not pay attention and not be with it. So what do you do in those situations? I think.
What do you do? Send him home? Try to talk to him? Feed it? Ignore it? I mean, it's really, what do we tell them to do in a case like that?
Well, we're 10 years into this. I hope we know what to do. I mean, it's like, first you have to find out what it is that's bothering him,
Get him
right?
to use his words.
So you have to use your words. You have to tell me. And then you go from there. I mean, just, okay, it was a loud noise. Okay, then you remove him from the situation, or you explain how it's not going to happen again, or what the chances are of it happening again, or,
It is hard.
It's hard.
I mean, it's hard in any situation like this. And you can't remove him exactly from that situation when that's going on, because you're in the middle.
Not in a competition.
Of a competition.
But at practice.
So, right. I practice, it's different. So this was good, actually. Here, the end of the story is he worked through it.
Yeah.
He was a little pouty doing the third event.
I think that's
one way to describe it, right?
I don't know. It's like,
he was a little pouty, but he did it. He did do it. And then it wasn't, but he did it. And then the last one, he was less pouty because it wasn't getting a lot of attention. And maybe that's better that they didn't give him a whole lot of, okay, you're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. Come on, let's do it. You know what I mean? So he made it through. We finished, and then we were waiting for them to give the rewards. Now, listen, talking about trying to prep. I was trying to tell him, you might not get
because
anything because
the last few
you didn't.
routines.
It really wasn't your best effort today.
Yeah,
because you got upset, and I don't know how they score here, so I don't know. What
on the bar, he was like, it looked so bad. He was just kind of like falling off the bar, crossing his arms over, like all the things that you're not supposed to do.
We've seen him do better, for sure.
A lot better, right?
A lot better.
But he was doing it because he was upset. And that's what was upsetting to me. It's like don't. Yeah, that's what it was. The whole thing was, don't ruin your chances for the ribbon by pouting and doing these behaviors, right?
Because he thinks he ruined his day, and in his mind, if it's a bad day, then let
ruin
me get
the rest
all
of
the
it.
bad out,
just ruin
so tomorrow's better.
Yeah. My goodness.
So he gets through the whole thing. So then I'm telling him, I really don't know if you're going to get any ribbons.
Right. And I really didn't think he was.
Nope. So here's where we can take a silver lining is, I know he's listening, that
you think
they have categories. And so it has to do with your age and has to do with your skill level. And there are not very many boys in gymnastics. So Bryce landed in his own category. So when we were sitting there and we were waiting for them to make the first announcement, and he was the very first name called out of all the athletes, I said, oh my goodness, how did he? And then he went up, and there was nobody else, and I'm like, well, thank you, Jesus, because he is about to get 5 ribbons because he got one for every event and the overall. And I will say that on there, they put his scores, and he did, like his first one before things melted, he got a 9.4 on his pommel horse, which was really good.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, he did really good. The floor was less than 8. It was 7 something. And then he got 8 something on the other 2. But he can work from there. He did get those, and I don't think he was rewarded necessarily for bad behavior. I honestly feel like he got rewarded for working through it. And I'm glad that he did. He really, really, and he was so excited. Oh my goodness. To see that, because he does work hard, and I want him to know, you got it this time, but you have to really work hard and you can't get upset. And now he's been through a competition. This was all new to him. Never done gymnastics before. Didn't know how it worked. Didn't know with music. It was all very educational, but we made it.
Yeah, we did it. We did it. And I just want to come back to Urban Air real quick, because we really didn't talk about what he did in there, right?
Oh.
We talked about the other kids.
Well, I did say a little bit. Go-karts.
Okay.
But you go ahead.
So it was go-karts. It was trampolines. trampoline with basketball. It was a zip line. It was the bumper cars. You talked about the one that went upside down. So there's a lot. There's a rock climbing, several climbing things there.
Yeah.
So very good for OT. Right? So building muscles, keeping your muscle tone. So, and I didn't think much of it was dangerous in any way. So I don't know how kids are getting hurt. It must be during the crowded periods that more kids are there and they're jumping.
I think the trampolines are where the danger comes in.
But it's really, they have a lot of things in that building. And being here in Florida, it's indoors. So anytime you can get indoors in Florida with air conditioning and without the rain, it's a win-win. So I think we'll be going back there, and it's almost like gymnastics for him. It's very good for his body. You know what I'm saying?
Which he loves gymnastics, and that is really good for him. All right, well, we're about to wrap up. I just wanted to throw out a couple little other notes because I'll forget them for the next time. I will say that Bryce this week, I noticed that he has extended his greeting. We've been working on this forever and a day, but he actually said to a couple people while we were out, "Hi, how's your day going?" He said that at Seaworld to somebody. I think at Little Caesars, he asked the girl that, which was great. And then when we went to Mom and Dad's, he even said to me, "Hi, how's your day going?"
Yeah.
You know, like he's really trying, and we're working on that. So when I picked him up yesterday from his therapies, I was talking to his speech therapist, and she was telling me how she's working on like conversations with him, how to do conversations, which is great. And she said, and I told her about, I'm hearing him now actually trying to engage with somebody, which is great. It may be even something he has memorized, but at least he knows that's a conversation starter that can get it going. But she said she asked him a couple questions, and I thought they were cute. So I was going to share them because, listen, there's no wrong answer here, but you know how like you're shooting for an answer and it's not the answer you get? She said to him, "Okay, so Bryce, if one of your friends was going on vacation," they said, "Hey, Bryce, I'm going on vacation. What should you ask them?" And we would think, "Where are you going?" Right? But Bryce said, "Can I go with you?" Which I thought, that's a great follow-up. Yes. And then the other one that was not as cute, but still cute. She said that she said he has a hard time with compliments and understanding that and giving those. But she said that she was saying, "Okay, so your friend was working really hard on a project and they weren't really happy with it. They didn't think they did a great job. What's something maybe you could say to them?" You know, looking more for like encouragement. And Bryce said, "Do better next time." Yes, you could say that too. So, at least he has responses that make sense, that go with the questions, and he's going to learn how to deliver those and what to ask. And I love that they're working on these things with him.
I also want to mention,
it's great.
Right now with language arts, we're working on a lot of writing, and of course he hates writing, so we're typing. He's kind of dictating to me what to say, and then I type it in the program for him. And which is what his psychologist said we might have to do, is find a dictation program for him. But anyway, he's getting good at typing too.
You're the dictation program.
He's typing, and the lesson this week was pretty much how to add more details to a conversation to make it more interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like an example was, "Okay, Bryce," I said to him, "what's better? Bryce is laying on the couch, or Bryce is laying on the soft black couch with his stuffed animal Flippy, which is a dolphin," you know, that type of thing. So, and then of course he answered the second one was better. And so he's learning now how important details are to keep people interested. And it's all about painting the picture in your brain, right? That's the example that they used is, you know, what's it look like in your brain when somebody tells you this? So if I just say Bryce is laying on the couch, you have no idea what color the couch is or what it looks like or anything. So you want to add those details. And I think he's starting to get that.
That's great.
In conversation. So, and in writing. So it's really an important piece that we haven't had up until now, and he's able to understand. So I think it's really good. We're in a sweet spot with that.
I'm agreeing. And any progress we make with language and language arts is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Well, I think that's a good recap for now.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I hear our boys up now.
Okay.
They're starting early here on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
So,
all right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. And we hope you have a great week ahead of you. And we'll be back again soon to catch up here on the Coulters.
Yes, we'll be back.
And we'll let you know when the book is ready to order.
Signing out for now.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.